Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Guys Connect. The guys are back. I have co-host PK. You're welcome to this episode.
Thank you for joining us.
And Chidode is back also. You're welcome.
Thank you guys for it's a privilege.
J. Josh. And of course, once again, we are excited to have Joey to be on set with us today.
Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So today we'll be discussing something sometimes we run away from, or not necessarily run away from, we don't know how to engage. And is what we call legacy, the dash between two dates. And so many years ago, I heard this phrase for the first time from TD Jakes. He said, life is just a dash between two dates. But what really matters is what you put in that dash. As little as that dash is what you'll be remembered for, and which is invariably your legacy. Today, I'd like us to discuss what represents legacy for you, for any man. What are those things that you want to be reminded for? One day the grind stop, and the story begins. It becomes something. What can we remember you for? What can your generation say about you? But you won't get to that point if you didn't start now. So what represents legacy in your own opinion for you? What are those things that you think are those things that you want to do in between those dash, in between those 2 days, whether that's your own dash, or what are those things that are important for you now as a man that becomes what that kind of legacy that you want to leave behind? Not just now, nobody's talking about that, but very importantly, what are those things that are impactful, or what are those things that are very, very important to you, those core values and those things that you want to remember for. I'd like to start with PK. I know you don't normally want to start with the guest, but today I'd like to hear from you.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to hear a different perspective from our guests, and thank you guys for joining us again. So I was thinking about legacy and why it could be tempting to think about maybe doing massive things.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me that values can be a legacy that you pass down to the next generation. How you are living now, the kind of values you have upheld will be what you're able to pass down. When I think about my dad, and I talk about him often, so the things I'm gaining now from his legacy was the way he lived his life, not necessarily what he built. He didn't build too many things, but the people he served.
Yeah.
I go into play. I entered into a friend's office one day and I met two men that came to men who are doing very well. And my friend just mentioned he just lost his dad. My dad just passed that time. And each of them stood up. He said, well, what's his dad's name? They mentioned they stood up, hugged me, and started telling stories, two different stories. In Abuja, he lived far away in our state. So it is value. So for me, legacy would be what kind of value am I passing down? That taking up, when my children take them up, it will fetch them the other things. I think Jake TD was talking about the fact that, hey, it's not about the money. And the video went viral. But the things that you're going to pass down to them, of course, they can make money through it.
Yeah.
So I think I would send out on values, ideals. I remember Obama's campaign in 2008. Doesn't mean I'm still his fan today. He was my guy then. He sent out a campaign basically on ideals, the American ideal, the fact that they were known for certain things that are not necessarily not physical, but the way that they have lived their lives in values.
Okay, so I'd like to hear from Joey. What's your thought on that? From your own perspective,
I echo PK's thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's because for me, legacy is in twofold: tangible and intangible.
Yeah.
So the intangible can give birth to the tangibles that most times we crave and we spend our years chasing. You want to build a business, you want to build wealth, and bequeath to your kids and the generation that is after. But the intangible is much more important because it can give birth to the tangible. One of the intangibles that I think our world is losing first is the virtue of kindness.
Yeah.
People are so after what they can get, selfishness, that they would kill. And kindness is one of the virtues that I would love my girls to have. And I also like to bequeath the dignity in labor. Like there is so much blessing in working with your hands.
Yeah.
And there is no shame in what you are doing as long as what you are doing is honest. That virtue of working hard and working smart is something that I would love to bequeath to the next generation. That they should be proud of what they do.
Yeah.
And God blesses what they do. God blesses the hard work that you do, not the scheme of your mind, but the work of your hands. So virtues, these intangibles, I think, are the legacy that I would love to be remembered for. Are the legacies that I would love to bequeath to my kids and the generation after. And when they remember Joseph, they should remember that he was a kind person.
I like that.
Not for anything.
I like that.
He was a kind person.
I like that. I like it. I like the way you put it, the tangibles and the intangible, because most often than not, when you actually analyze it, you see that some people somewhat takes or pitch a tent with the tangibles, and sometimes you if you are unable to connect the dot between the tangible and intangible, you might spend your whole time feeling like a failure because you cannot see the product of the tangible. Meanwhile, the intangible is something that, like, for example, his dad is actually in a faraway place and is getting the value of those intangible that is now tangible to him now because he's reaping from it, and that's very important. I'd like to hear from Josh.
I don't even have any differing thoughts. I think when I think about it, what comes to mind is my grandmother, and when she passed, I recall all of the conversations that were happening, people saying things, giving testimonies of things she had done that we didn't even know about. So I think it's in a lot of ways the things that you do on a daily, those tiny little things that some people may easily overlook. And then I think it's the decisions you make at crossroads, how you make those decisions, I should say. Because one thing that you get to see in life is that people will always have to make decisions, right? But how they make the decision is really what is, I think, pivotal. Because 20 years ago from today, there were no phones, right?
Yeah.
But in today's world, phones, I think it's very commonplace, right? But how people make choices on what phone to buy or how to manage their phone or what they put on their phone and other things. I'm just using that as an example. It shows you to a large extent about what, say, an intangible like values would come to play. I've grown up hearing my uncles complain about probably my nephew or my cousin having midnight calls. And I'm just laughing, like, if it was a different case, it was him getting upset because he knows the value that he's trying to pass on to his son, right? And in that instance, the son may not be getting it, and then the father gets upset. But essentially, all of those tiny little things that you're living daily by, and even when you forget, you try to find a way to remind yourself that this is what I want to live, this is how I want to live. Those things, I think, tie into legacy.
That's good. I'd like to hear Chideze. I'd like to hear your opening thoughts on this.
Okay, so I think the topic has been well addressed, really, from all the speakers, because legacy is still legacy anyway. It just simply means, in a nutshell, what you live by, right? What you are known for, what you leave behind. I think that leave behind part is the fact that we are not very comfortable. Yes, but it is, and this legacy now is something that you build on a daily basis as you live, because there are two sides of stories of us. It's a story while we are present, and it's a story when we are not there. Yeah, and unfortunately, both are built while one is present.
Yeah.
And also, I think just like every other thing in life, this needs to be intentionally crafted.
Yeah.
So I hear Mr. Joseph, when he mentioned about he wants to be known for being kind.
Kind, yeah.
In fact, the way he expressed the kind, I thought very deep into it. That I mean, this is a very strong legacy to be known
An intentional,
for, right? An intentional one. So for me, it is to begin now to now know that while we are, because I must say something just quickly, life just already boxes you into something. As long as you are into existence, life, you already, it's either you are designing life the way you want it, or you're already running by the already made design.
Yeah, there's no vacuum.
There's no vacuum. Something must be happening.
Yeah.
So while we are all in the race of trying to survive, trying to do this, we ought to remember that a time is going to come where our story will be told. How do we want it to be told? For me, I think that's what legacy is all about.
That's a very good one, and it takes me to my next level of deeping dive into the conversation. The people who live strong, quote unquote, tangible legacy, build companies, build industries, build schools, and all that. We look at other, might be tempted to look at other people who might not be doing that as, what are you doing with your time? What are you doing with what then is success? I had a conversation with one of my mentees, and I said that I don't want to be a billionaire, not because I don't like being a billionaire, but I want to be able to impact lives and be able to afford being things for myself and being able to do that. So we're just having a conversation. I said, no, I want to be remembered as a guy who will be the biggest company, who will do this and that. And we had that conversation back and forth. But I could understand where it's coming from, because he said, how then are people able to remember your name if all they just did was, you're able to meet your needs and meet other people's needs. But if you are able to build something that each time people are passing by that company, passing that stuff, they're able to say, hey, this was done by somebody. And no, we had that back and forth, but I tried to explain to him what I mean. And that, which is what I want to ask you. Legacy for you, how do you define success? Is it in impact, income, or both?
Well, it's both, but one lives longer than the other. So your impact and your influence is going to live longer. You are the one that normally quotes saying that if you want to build
for 6 months, for 6 months, grow it.
For example, corn is for 3 months.
Yes.
Yam is for 9 months. Cocoa maybe 1 or 2 years. But if you want to reap for life, you build men.
Yeah.
So investing in men.
Yeah.
See, there are different organizations that I have seen in this Nigeria. In this my age, I'm not yet 50. I just turned 45 a few days ago.
Yeah.
And they are no more. In Yoruba, they say, Omota kolumagbili kota.
Interpretation.
I'm going to interpret for sure,
know.
because it's a global audience.
Yeah.
Is that the child that would not build in training, that build that means training, is the one that will sell the house built.
Yeah.
So why those things matter and they're very important to have a good life here. Most people, what is inheritance and building house for my children? Those children don't go back to those houses. Okay, no matter how good your father's house is when he built it, is that your priority now? And the one you are building, I think, is so fine now. Let me tell you, by the time they are your age, you see that your house is just like a hut, or it's not relevant. The style has changed, the architecture has improved. So
they want something better.
So when we talk about legacy, it's even more of these intangible things. Somebody's talking about kindness, talking about dignity in labor, hard work, respecting people, service, love, light of righteousness, integrity. There are some people, integrity that their father bequeathed to them. Hey, I remember they were telling you that story during his burial. And I'm like, okay, an apple never falls far from the tree. And the thing that you have earned from him will now make you earn things that you need in your life. So both are fine.
True.
I mean, there's this book by an American called Built to Last. Great. They are doing better over there than here. But I've seen companies that no matter how long you want them to last, if you don't build the people who sustain that legacy, there's going to fizzle out in a few decades, few years. So people, matter.
I like that, and I like the fact that you touched on something that is very important to me. I'm going to ask, for me, if you ask me, impact and integrity. For me, integrity is very critical. I want to be able, and I learned that from my dad, because there's any legacy that I know without any doubt that the man left behind is that of integrity, being able to be accountable for these words. That is your yea be yea, your nay be nay. It sounds like scripture, but it's also very easy. It sounds easy, but the truth is that how many people can be this today and be that tomorrow and be consistent. Consistency is very difficult. Like they say, integrity is the most difficult thing to build, but easiest thing to destroy. So for me, it's something that you know consciously. I'm just speaking for myself. That's something that I consider very important. So the same question. For you, I know maybe most of the people here. I wish I had the guy I was having that conversation on this set to come and speak for the income, the part. But I'd like to hear your thoughts, Josh.
Yeah. You see, if we look at the training of a child, because I've seen children grow up in different contexts.
Yeah.
For those that may be familiar with Lagos, there's an area called Maza Maza, right? And then there's an area called Banana Island. We're already laughing.
Are you sure the Maza Maza will not come for you?
So I remember paying a visit to Maza Maza, and I could see that the mindset in that area is it's in a unison of sorts. And then the mindsets on like a Banana Island or Magodo and so on, it's a different one. At Maza Maza, you're likely thinking, and this is April 2025, so please don't judge me if that changes. But a lot of people are focused on surviving.
Yeah.
And when you're focused on surviving, you're not even thinking legacy. To an extent, you're not even thinking. I mean, I was just standing outside and I saw that there was this big banner, right? And they had, it was so big that it had really well-rounded pillars, and they had put barbed wires around it. And in my head, I'm thinking, why would you put barbed wires around a very big banner? And it struck me, what happens during protests, right? You see people that can be political thugs, right? Just fueled by a little 500 or 1,005, and they climb government properties, and because they are unhappy, they carry cutlasses and they are bringing down a traffic light. What does traffic light have to do with anything? You are making more of an inconvenience. So income, it's really important. Let's not even play.
Okay.
But you get another child in Banana Island, and there's usually two mindsets, and sometimes maybe a mix of others in between. One is one that is already entitled, coming from old money, trust fund baby. They are like anything suffering, they are not there. Their name is not in their monk. Right? And that's the kind of life they want to live. So they call it #soft life. And if you are not on that level, please, there's one site for you. It's called Out of My Way. Then you have some other persons that they are thinking, how do I create value? So they are like, even their father's house, sure, they may not want to live there anymore because, for whatever reason, fashion has changed. They are thinking of how to turn that into an Airbnb or some value creation out of that to serve humanity, right? So I think all of that can be summarized into, in a sense, home training. Now, will a child receive the home training? That's another question for another day. But intentionally creating beyond just the money, it's like the perception of the money. I think what's most important is mindset.
Yeah.
What kind of mindset are you communicating? So there's people that see money as tools to get other things done. There are people that see money as, let me just keep acquiring because I don't know what's coming tomorrow. They are living in fear. I mean, and sure, I don't want to get sued for this, but I think that's something you get to see in political class.
Yeah.
They just, let's keep taking, right. So there's people that then have the mindset of creating value for others, right? Whether it's creating a payment platform or using their knowledge of all of the countries they have traveled to come and create Airbnbs in their local space, or trying to create some level of change in their space, or being the change they want to see. So I think it's very important to have both. That is the income as well as all of the other intangibles, right? But I think most important, or what really makes meaning out of those other things, is the mindset that is passed across.
Okay, I'd like to hear Chideze. What's your thoughts?
Okay. Well,
If I hear you don't mention income,
well, I mean, income is just like Josh had actually rightly stated. Actually, the both cannot be on taken out for each other,
Okay.
right? So you need success can be measured by the level of income. One
yes.
gets,
Yes.
and also maybe also the status you are also legacy in terms of character or sort of you also put first. The both sides should be worked for, right? Yeah. So because I am, in fact, the very reason why, in my opinion, Africa, right? I don't want to just mention our country, is where we are in terms of the global space, is because of that lack.
That imbalance.
Yes, that imbalance of lack, right, in our midst. So we have the good name. So we grew up with creating legacy for good name, right? Until we got into the conversation with the larger world, and we are now being thrown with affluence, a lot of that shown in our faces and not thrown in our faces. So our lives was much easier before, okay for us, until we met with these people. So they started showing us what we are missing, and so we are now being seen as the backward people, right? So we now need to like edge up, right, and then be able to have a muscle to muscle conversation with them. Like look at currently what is going on with China and US now, the trade tension going on within them. I tell you, as I'm speaking to you right now, Chinese are not trying, they're not budging. Why? Because they know that it might take them a little while, and they may be able to rise up to pull a little bit of fight back to what the US is trying to do to them.
Okay.
And also, so the whole picture is this.
That's true.
The income part is very vital, right? And at the same time, having that name or the legacy put for yourself with respect to how you've lived your life, both must be very well balanced and all that. That's my point on that.
Picky, I'd like to hear your own thoughts.
Of course, your income and the value. Of course,
I think you went first.
No,
Okay,
no, but
okay. So, the conversation now is now about when we're talking about.
I'm just hearing income for the first time.
So it was success that was now translated into income.
Okay.
So it was success impact, which is more. And he talked about the need for the both of them. So I think it is important to strike the balance, because impact lasts them longer the way he said, but you need successes to keep you motivated.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
To make the impact.
Exactly. So you need successes that translate in increase in income, increase in your status, and increase in also material things. So, but it is the balance that is needed, so that you are not taking your eyes off the ball and facing one. That balance.
Somebody said that the ideas of a poor man is a suggestion.
Oh my God!
And
This is so
as if he's invited to the meeting.
Exactly.
But the poor man might actually be the wisest man in the room. But sometimes, So I'm just saying that not because I wholeheartedly believe that. I just say I'm just saying that's how
reality.
How it can be if if you try to downplay the part where income or wealth can be.
It is that while you are doing it, you are making sure the right values are
attached. Yes,
so that they can
And it's
sustain.
even guiding you.
Yeah.
Because that might even be like the distinguishing thing between you and the other person, that you're doing it right.
Yeah.
And you are holding that you are being truthful, you are being honest, you are being mindful of the next person while trying to make more money, none of that. The journey is as important as the destination.
So I believe strongly that legacy is more impactful on the next generation. But what you are doing now is what builds that body of work, that legacy for the next generation. So if I may ask for you, intentionally, what are you doing intentionally now to leave the kind of impact you want to remember for all to those next generation?
Okay, let me go first.
Yes, go first.
I am being intentional with how I relate with the people that are within my sphere of
influence.
Of influence.
Yeah.
And these are beyond my family members,
okay,
nuclear and extended, but those that I interact with daily at work and in my church community. So by divine privilege, I head people, I train people. Every 16 weeks, I am giving 25 people to disciple.
I like that.
Yes. Wow. So I get that rare privilege of being in their faces every Sunday for 16 weeks.
Yeah.
So what I do is I am intentional about everybody in my class.
Yeah. Yeah.
That at the end of 16 weeks, my family grows by 25 people. Wow. So beyond preaching, teaching, they reach out to me in the middle of the night. They can reach out to me at any time for a guidance, for a suggestion, or just running an idea.
Yeah, true, yeah.
So I am intentional with how I relate with everybody because that's the legacy.
Yeah.
I want to be remembered for being that person that is being kind, that will pray with you, that will come sit with you in the hospital, that will travel with you if need be, so that at the end of the day, that outlives.
Wow, that's a lot of work, but that's actually where the true impact comes from. Yeah, because sometimes we think money, and that's where sometimes what money cannot buy. Sometimes you think people you give people money, they will appreciate you for a while, but stop giving that money. You know that they actually, when really they appreciate you, they're appreciating what they can get from you in terms of tangibility. But there's no way you can impact somebody. You help somebody make a defining decision of their life that probably moved them from this to this place. Not that becomes the definition of who they are, and they will forget you. They may not even speak to you. That may be the last time you have that question. I've been in that situation. That's why I'm saying this. Where I remember there's a very long ago, and I was saying, thank God, I've shared this so many times. I've never shared it when you are there. And I was in Lagos, and I was in a church, and they're having a youth program, and they invited, this is the kind of program that you invite other people. And interestingly, at that time, most people in the church, I don't want to be known as a pastor, or not because of anything. I just want to, be a brother and help people. Of course, I was still doing all the things I was doing. I was the one, helping in counseling most of the youth. And about this program, let's invite other people. So they invited different people from different churches around, not even from the same denomination and all that. They came, and I was there. So the program was going on, but I was outside with the pastor. And we're having a conversation. He was trying to, is there anything that know that when you're having a program, those gaps you're trying to plug. And one of the youth in one of the church came around and I don't know him. I can't remember him. And he said, Pastor I'm like, Pastor said, first, nobody calls me that name a long time. Two, who are you? I don't even know you. And the person, you can't remember me. I'm like, why? And he said, remember University of Ilorin. There was this time I was hungry. I came to your room and there was a food on the table. And they said, so apparently it's one of those times we're having fasting and prayer. They brought, the cooler, just bring something. And so it was meant for you and I to break fast with. And I think you had gone out to pray. I just came back. That's why we used to go to that, that house where we go to pray. And the guy said, but they said, don't touch his pastor. And I said, don't worry, he's hungry. I don't know him, but I think the guy is hungry. Let him eat. It looks like someone who is desperately hungry for food, because it takes a lot for you to go to a fellowship secretariat where you don't know them, you are not their member, and you demand for food. That means you are desperate. Something. And so the guy remembered this. We're talking about more than 10 years after. And so that was what he remembered me for.
Yeah.
And I did not. But for me, for him, he said that was the moment he started going back to church. So he felt, truly, this man because I had every reason to say I've been the one fasting now I need to break, but you just came and the word I was supposed to break with, and that they should give you. But me, I just felt like I can always, if somebody gave me that food, I can always make another food to eat. If that was the way I was thinking at it. So for me, that person, the reason why I said it's not because about the food, it's about how that action. I didn't give him money. That action became a ripple effect action for him to become to go back to church, and now is now a youth. I don't know whether it was youth pastor or he was youth something for him to be part of that program, and that so that's how much those legacy, those action. It may not be. I mean, somebody would think the way he shouted, you think maybe somebody that have given maybe $1 million before in my life or something, but he was quite excited, and that's why I'm saying I can relate to what you're saying, that being able, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of work to that, but it starts from now. I would like to hear from PK.
Yeah, so I think purpose and impact is very important. So when we're talking about legacy, I'm seeing it in two ways: your own legacy in life, and then legacy when it concerns your children. So that's how
I like that.
Dividing this in my mind. So in life generally, life of impact and purpose is very important. Whatever you have, and you see, money is very important. And to me, in the cadre of being able to achieve things, I think it's one of the easiest things. And if anybody wants a conversation that will be with facts, we can meet after the session. That money is easier to make than fulfilling purpose. Yeah. So I would rather want to emphasize that life of impact and purpose. We will make the money, and leaving an impact in the world would be a sense of purpose. Some of the purposes, of course, all of them, you still need money to achieve them. You understand? But the purpose at the back of your mind, there is a worthwhile goal that becomes a benefit to humanity that I want to bequeath to this world. And it comes from God, through inspiration from God, and so, okay, this is what I want you to do, you get to do that. That is for the world. So, but it seems our conversation was more about to our families or our children, where values come from. So then we're not talking about income, relating to that. Definitely income is very important. As a matter of fact, one of the values is to make sure that your child's mind is not small. That's one of my goals. I want to make sure that their mind, that they can think big, their mind is large. Somebody said, be careful what you ask for, you might just get it. I keep saying, I was praying, I was really talking with my friend those days. I want my child to start reading at 4, reading books and reading well. I think it happened a bit earlier, and I think it's going at a rate. Those who know, it's going at a rate that I have to check it. Because when they are not small books, I'm talking about Malcolm Gladwell's. There's hardly any book Malcolm Gladwell has in print now that I have my son has not written. What the Dog Saw, Tipping Point, The Outliers, before 10. So I started getting afraid. That this guy is way too much for reach that poor dad and all those. So his head is thinking money. And he is going to make it. How he's going to get the lawyer for an agreement. He's going to enter an agreement with anybody with his ideas. He will not just release it easily like that. So I'm happy with that. And so create a legacy that allows the child's mind. See, what you are going to bequeath to your child at the end of the day that benefits him the most in his life will still be these values. Build all the structures, they are very important. They will help him with some financial leverage. So I'm focusing on purpose and impact, focusing on a large mind. So don't believe anything is impossible. I want my child to be strong, to have the faith. He will achieve far more than me, but it's going to be because I said you can do it. So I want to be able to build that kind of legacy, and then time will not allow us. So I think, but income, very important. We must work at it. They must see us working at it. And then they also pick it up from there. So
what the children that like FME, what are depositing now for the next generation?
Well, that's very, very strong, right? What I'm depositing now, in fact, the reason I paused is because it's something that I've been a bit emotional about. Very recently, a few things started changing in my life. Right? Maybe some of the people that are looking very closely to my left. Sometime last year, something was not there. Something's not there now. So, as soon as I entered there, again, most of the times we do things, these are part of the world. I think almost every time we do this because it's happening. And to realize that, hold on. I just started this. So which means by starting this, by extension, I've also opened doors for this. Now, if I've opened doors for this, am I ready for this? Oh my God! Like, am I ready to start molding somebody's life and destiny? Start shaping it out. So it just dawned on me to just sit back and say, if I was just discussing with my wife, like, I need to like sit back and just talk again. Let's again recalibrate and be sure of the next steps we're about to take over this, because this is about to be committed to, all that. So legacy for me now is very vital, because I'm looking at how will the destinies that will be committed into my hands be shaped. That's 1, 2, and how will also my life affect their outcomes. How will my decisions affect their future, right? And then how also will this world at large, get affected by every single day I'm able to live here. So there's something I was currently building in work with our organizations. As I was just doing that, and it just hit me that now there's a bit of a change from trying to make ends meet to trying to actually create an impact. And it was like a shift. All the time has just been move close to something so that we just survive. It just turned on me that no, there's a problem that you are trying to solve. And that problem is a solution. I mean, you are going to get a solution that is really going to change lives and outlive you. So it has now changed the entire scope of how I now approach my work and even my personal life and family.
It becomes a byproduct.
It becomes a byproduct. It's just an instrument for work.
That's what I put up a post, I think, some time ago, a couple of years ago, and I said, I don't want to be popular, I want to be efficient. Popularity is a byproduct of being efficient. If you're efficient, there's no way at what you do. You're very good at what you do. There's no way you'll be popular. But other people want to. I just want to be popular. I don't want to be popular. That's why I don't want to take a swipe at those young generation of people what they do on TikTok just to be popular, just to be known, and forgetting that you're also going to leave an impact. I be negative on the social media. That people can go, was that your mother? That's what your mother was. Yes, you became popular, but popular for the wrong reason. Josh, I'd like to hear your thought.
Well, I'll just make it brief. It's something that has always, maybe I'll just take it in 2 parts, right? Something that has always come to me and something I've always looked to give out. So something that has always come to me is giving up people access to opportunities. See, in the Nigerian space, at least how it is right now, you have a lot of graduates coming out of school, but you have fewer opportunities for them to get access into certain places where their talent would appreciate and also just bloom, right? So for me, it was plugging into that space, or by situation and circumstances. Like, I can tell you literally on every job I've done after NYSC, tied into giving people access into the workspace. And how it even happened was very interesting. I remember going for a career fair at I think it was Daystar by I met Sam Adeyemi's Daystar, and then I met a couple of people. I won a little competition there simply because of how I was thinking, right? And it was a panel, and they had just impromptu brought me up on stage, read out my CV and yada yada. I was already shy, but they asked a question: is it that Nigerian graduates are not employable, or they don't have what it takes to be employed? And my answer was quite riveting, because I felt they are employable, they just don't have that refinement that it takes to show that they're employable. And employers need to be able to see that, you can be on this role before they get you in and all of that. So they really took to my answer, and I remember winning this book, Corporate Misfits. I read that book, and it just inspired me to continue wanting to do that. Until date, that's still what I do, giving people access to opportunities. Then on the other hand, in terms of what I do, it was then to create a service out of it. So on the side, one thing I do is to help people rebrand or reshape or reposition themselves for these opportunities that I'm trying to get them access to. So for different people, and I think this is really important, because imagine going through 5 years, and for some people maybe 4 years, for some other people 8 years, given how ASU behaves and all other factors around finances and such. You get to see that certain people, once they come out, they're like, Lord, I want a job. This, that, they're hustling their uncles, their mom, their dad, anybody. They just want an opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? It becomes the next best thing. It becomes that 1 million naira food. Right? So it's I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to play in that space and also to give in that space. So that's what I mean, if I may just give one instance, there was someone that we had this career fair at some volunteering thing I did when I was out of a job. Right. One thing that, and if I may be spiritual about this, the Holy Spirit told me is that you don't have a job, but it doesn't mean you're not employed. So what I did was to volunteer, and I volunteered as an assistant HR at an NGO. No payments. I was just making a living out of writing CVs and things like that. So we did this whole career fair, and I remember connecting a few people to organizations, reviewing a few CVs, and so on. I think that was like 2019. By 2024, yeah, July 2024, somebody reached out and said, Mr. Joshua, good evening, yada yada. That I just thought to reach out to you and say thank you very much. That after that career fair you did, that I got a job at XYZ. I was like, I don't even know this person. How did you get my number? All of that. So I'm grateful for those. So that's how I've been able to play in that space and also been able to give.
So it's very interesting. It's very interesting and important that you are able, in building legacy through impact, you are able to also get fulfillment. Because that's in therein and in there is your fulfillment. That's why you understand that if the focus is about income, which is not bad, like we have established, is very important. It gets to a point that the human mind, your spirit, your nature start yearning for more. That's why, and so sometimes you get buried in more work, rather. But meanwhile, you are providing the right answer to the wrong question. So sometimes you realize that you are trying. You think maybe it's maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe when I do more work and earn more money. But truly, there is a part of us that wants to be impactful, because just like we reproduce our kind by employing the body, the mind also want to produce. The soul, the spirit also want to be able to churn out result. And I was sharing somewhere recently, and I was saying that isn't it interesting that the first instruction God gave to man after creating him, he said, be fruitful and multiply and dominate. So that means he wants you to, for you to be able to be fruitful, it means that you are producing. And for you to producing, and to not just produce at a slower rate, you are producing at you say multiply, that means you are a geometric rate. And then it's only when you have done that you have dominion. But we read dominion and have dominion to mean that you become the boss. No, it means that in that field, or in that sphere of your purpose, you cannot be ignored. You have become a reference point. That's the way I interpreted that scripture for me. And since then, it's always, so when a couple of years ago when I turned 40, somebody asked me, what is any lesson you learn for going forward? I said, for me, impact. What am I going to be doing consciously from now that represents the level of impact that I'm able to be remembered for? So I'd like us to wrap up on this. And the last question, they will always say this: if you don't stand for anything, you fall for anything. And so I'll leave. I know in this part of the world, when you tell people to do insurance, they say, you say I'm going to die or do will. I'm going to die. I'm saying that if you were to drop off this physical world now, what do we want to remember for? Remember, we started by saying life's a dash within 2 days. And so what will you want to remember for?
While I was preparing for this, I remembered a post that I made on Facebook on the 6th of November 2012.
Wow.
That's 13 years ago. And I tagged it mission statement.
Okay.
Let me just quickly read it. If this bit of earth may be stronger for the strength I bring, sweeter for the songs I sing, happier for the path I tread, brighter for the light I shed, richer for the gifts I give, purer for the life I live, and nobler for the death I die. In the end, not in vain have I been I.
Oh, that's it. Awesome.
I didn't know you were a poet.
He actually is. Yeah. Stop doing that.
Where has this been?
Yeah.
So it's,
but that's it.
Yeah, it's about just making the world a better
Place. Yes.
And that was why kindness drives me.
Yeah.
The world is starving for more love.
Yeah.
For people who are kind, people who can show love. Very funny how love is the most transforming force in the world. And even as Christians, love is our most potent tool in saving the unsaved man. So if I am able to show a little more love, a little more kindness daily, I think that is a satisfying way to be remembered for.
I know I'm asking everyone for friend, but permit to come in here because I want to do something that he didn't see coming.
Okay.
And as he was talking, I just remember something. And sometimes, we wait for a particular day to say some things to some people, but sometimes it's always good to take the opportunity. And I want to put this on record. A couple of years ago, 2017, 2018, when was your marriage?
2018.
So that's 2018. That's why I had to ask that. And something happened. I was going through the lowest moment of my life. Funny enough, we've only seen once in our life before then. I knew he was preparing to get married because I knew the person was getting married to. But he didn't know anything was, I don't know how he got my account number. But this is where I'm going. I was going to the lowest moment. So that day, and I'm sure if I'm saying people would know me, say, you ever was that broke? All I had in my account, home and away, was 1,500 naira, not dollars. Naira. And suddenly I got an alert. For somebody who is looking for money for his own wedding, it's just a couple of weeks. He definitely is looking for, I know he's looking for money for his wedding. It's not that he had so much, but he said, I just had a leading to send you something. And for those who know me, I rarely cry. Really, I went to my kitchen, number 93 at Detola Street. I'll never forget. I remember this day vividly. And I sat down on a white plastic chair in my kitchen and I cried. And out of that depth of that crying, I prayed for him. And so sometimes when you do that lead, it's not that you get that leading. So for me, it was not the money. The money is important, don't get me wrong. But it was the thought. So when you say kindness, I can relate with it. For the thought that he could think about the leading to do what he was asked to do, despite the fact that he by human interpretation, you shouldn't be doing that. In fact, you should be getting to get more money to do your wedding. It's not the time you should be doing it. So for me, I want to say thank you for that, and I'll never forget that. Thank you very much. Please go ahead, Josh.
So that's a very difficult question to answer.
Yeah.
For me, if I were to drop off the face of the earth, what will I want people to remember me for? I'm not really looking forward to dropping off.
Nobody is. I'm not either.
But if there was anything, it would be that Joshua was someone that showed up when I needed to figure out life. I think that'll be enough for me.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that. Chido say, no, you just got married. You still have a lot of years to enjoy your wife, give Christ story, your children. So don't worry, you're not about to, at some point.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Really, for me, is to be remembered for the impact and the transformations that my life has made or have been able to make in the lives of people that I come across.
Yeah.
So there is something I very recently just had to come to my consciousness, and maybe I can use this platform to, I never can tell who is listening to really probably explain that about me and all of that. So I had noticed that I I've been privileged to go to different places, encounter different people and all that. And for every place I find myself, I live in that moment. And I try to the very best of my ability to make sure that everybody in that environment at that moment gets the very best of what I can be able to do. And I do not do such so that you can remember me for have this wonderful story, remember me for this or that. This has to be done. Just like the world is a lot of pain. So if I have a chance to touch lives, just touch and just keep moving and all of that. So later in life, some persons may just come back later. There's something like, okay, I've forgotten about this. I was just being a very good human being at that point, and I have moved on the next. So I want to live a life where every human being that comes across, touches my life, gets transformed in one way or the other. Either spiritually, either materially, either career-wise, any possible place that can. And so that also ripples into the other good things that is happening from your life to other people.
Wow, I love that. PK, round
Yeah, so I think love would be a very central point for me. I want people to get closer to God, know His love, and also be able to find that they fulfill their purposes for their lives. That they get closer to God, they know His love, they live happier lives, fulfilling God's purpose for their own lives. Because I realize that we're on this earth to fulfill God's purpose. So I've found my own, and it's still expanding. I want you to find your own. But at the end of the day, the meaning of your life will be that you have fulfilled the purpose of God for that life which He gave you.
I love that. And I'll wrap up by saying that.
Can I just quickly say happy birthday to TCPK? And for 45 minutes, very fresh.
Yeah. That's a good one. Thank you very much. So for me, I as I mentioned earlier, integrity. I'm very big on integrity. I'm very big on truth. I'm very big on impacting people, because the truth is that I believe that if I knew some of the things I knew now earlier, I would do better. Not that I have a problem with how far I'm doing, but I believe that I can do better with that. Thank you very much. It's been a certain time to have this conversation. I know some of the conversation we struggle to have, but it's nonetheless it's an important conversation, especially when you link your legacy to fulfilling your purpose. Until we hear from you, please remember to like, share, leave a comment, turn on the notification button, and we'd like to hear from you. Thank you very much for your time. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, my name is Seth Ongwemi. People call me PS. I'm excited to let you know that this is an exciting new season for us at the Guys Connect. Join me and Kyle Brimo or PK as we bring new topics, exciting topics, men-centric topics that affect men and people around them. Join us and other guys, new faces and old faces, as we discuss this exciting topic. It's going to be a very, very good time where we'll hear on topic mental health issue, relationship, money, and many other that affect men, and not just men, issues that affect even people with the ladies in their life. Please remember to join us, the Guys Connect, on YouTube and also on Instagram. Thank you very much. We look forward to hearing from you. Like, share, subscribe, and please turn on your notifications as new episode drops so that you can be one of the first people to get them. Thank you very much. See you next time.